What if I told you that tracking every bite is actually stalling your weight loss? See, all those hours logging food in MyFitnessPal are working against you. Yeah, I know. It sounds crazy. We've been told that it's a calories in, calories out thing. It's a law of thermodynamics. But that doesn't work for moms over 30. That advice is not just wrong, but it's keeping them stuck. I'm going to show you why calorie counting doesn't work for moms over 30 and what to do instead. You see, I see moms come into my program all the time. They're weighing their chicken, they're weighing their peanut butter, all like a damn science experiment, all to the last gram. They're doing it all, they're logging it all. And when they go off course, they feel guilty and shame comes in when you go over your numbers or you do something that doesn't fit into the plan. And somehow, despite doing everything right, the scale still won't move. It's exhausting and honestly sucks the fun and joy out of life. Food should be connection. Food should be joy. It's also a tool that can be used to help you get your dream body. Hi, I'm Kylene Heykants. I'm a nutrition and weight loss expert. I've been in the business for over 14 years, and I help moms ditch the diet rules, drop the obsession, and finally lose weight. Throughout this video, I'm going to break down reasons why calorie counting fails and what to do instead. By the end, you'll legit have permission to say goodbye to those calorie tracking apps. Point number one I want to make is that counting calories spikes cortisol. We stress about tracking every bite. We stress about logging our macros, doing all those things, but doing that raises the exact hormone that causes belly fat to go up, that causes weight gain to go up. It pushes our body into survival mode. It's our stress hormone that tells our body to store more fat around the middle for an upcoming emergency. So every time you obsess over tracking your macros, counting your calories, or logging your food, and maybe you feel anxious about not doing it right or going off track or whatever, you are spiking stress in your body. You are spiking cortisol, which is only going to hinder your results when it comes to weight loss. Calories doesn't take into effect the hormonal environment in which we need to make fat loss actually possible. It's actually turning it to make it impossible by spiking cortisol. And here's what no one is really talking about. I've had moms come to me tracking calories perfectly, hitting their macros every single time, and they can't eat at a restaurant without anxiety. Their coach gave them 30 grams, but their macaroni and cheese dinner with broccoli and chicken is 35 grams. It's kind of ridiculous when you think about it, and you're not enjoying the meal anymore. You're actually just making like mental math with your kids. That constant stress is doing much more damage than any extra calories could do. It's kind of like falling asleep. We've all struggled to fall asleep in the middle of the night, right? Racing thoughts. You know, when you watch the clock and you're so stressed, you're like, oh my gosh, it's 2 a.m. You look again, oh my gosh, it's 3 a.m. I got a work meeting. I got to get up, whatever it is. And you're really just overwhelmed. And that's kind of what cortisol is doing. It's kind of what tracking your calories is doing. It's making you more anxious. It's making it harder to fall asleep. It's making it harder to lose weight. Counting calories really does work the same way as watching that clock. The more you obsess, the more stress you create. And the more stress you create, the harder it is to lose weight. So what I want you to do is ask yourself honestly, does tracking calories make you feel calm and in control? Or does it make you feel anxious and slightly obsessive? If the response is yes to the second one, then you're likely having a stress response and you need to ditch those calorie counting apps because it's sabotaging your results. But the cortisol piece is just the beginning. Truly, it really is. There's something even more damaging happening on. This is where I think all moms should pay attention. Calorie counting in general is disconnecting us from our body. This is so sad when I see it. When we outsource simple things like our eating decision, our hunger, our fullness cues to an app, we stop trusting our own hunger cues. Your body has built-in signals to tell you what to eat and when to stop. It's truly amazing. I mean, humans didn't evolve by looking at a calorie counting app. These signals have kept humans alive for thousands of years. But when you track everything, you start ignoring these signals. You start really losing trust in your body. You eat because the app says so, not because you're hungry. You stop because the app says so, not because you're hungry. And over time, you completely lose touch with what your body actually needs. And that's really the sad part for me. It's also what makes me want to throw my phone against the room. I've heard moms say things like, actually, I see it all the time on Instagram too. Oh, my coach only let me have 30 grams. Or they have this little bar or something. Oh, my coach let me have 30 grams of carbohydrates. I'm like, let you? Are you a grown human? That's not empowerment. That's dependence. You've handed over control of your own hunger to an algorithm. Imagine you hired someone to tell you to breathe. Now stick with me. I know it sounds crazy, but someone has to tell you inhale now, exhale now, hold for 3 seconds. At first you'd follow along, but eventually you'd forget how to even breathe on your own. Hunger is a biological system that works without us needing to micromanage it all the time. When we micromanage it all the time, it makes us forget to listen to our own body. So when was the last time you ate something simply because your body asked for it? Not because the app said so, not because it fit your macros, but just because you truly wanted it and it sounded good. If you can't remember, that's a sign you've lost connection. Here's where it gets really ugly, because this disconnection leads to something even worse. It creates shame and food guilt. Shame and guilt from tracking food turns into a moral issue. Shame, I've seen time and time again with thousands of clients that I've coached, shame will never, ever lead to lasting change. When you track, food all of a sudden becomes food or bad. You have good food and you have bad food. And have you hit your macros? Okay, well, that's good. Oh, you went over on your macros. Oh, that's bad. That guilt and shame might motivate you in the short term, but it won't create lasting change. And I hear time and time again with prospective clients that come in is they not only want to lose weight, but they want it to stick. Shame and guilt do not have a place in your weight loss journey. And a big piece that I see it come up with is by tracking it obsessively. Because you can't hate yourself into being thin. It doesn't work. And this is a lie that the diet industry just keeps on selling us all the time. The clients who struggle the most, in my world at least, are the clients who have internalized the most shame. What this shows up like is I had a bad weekend. I need to make up for what I ate. I didn't earn that. It's not time to eat, all those things. These quotes that I hear from clients, that's language that reveals a broken relationship with food. And mama, when you have a broken relationship with food, you have littles who are watching you. Okay. Our greatest, most powerful parental asset is our ability to model change. It's not through lecture. Our kids don't listen. So when we heal our relationship with food, our kids are also going to heal their relationship with food. And no amount of tracking will fix it. It only makes things worse. Think about how you'd feel if someone followed you around all day judging you, judging your decisions around food. You'd feel anxious. You'd feel like a failure. You eventually would just rebel to set yourself free. That's what tracking does to your brain. You're constantly making these little calculations all the time, and you're not just drinking your coffee, which this shouldn't say dad. My kids are really into Bluey, and this is my husband's cup, obviously, but you're not always thinking about what's the moral high ground with this food. You're just freaking eating it. You're just drinking it. Sure, some connect you or bring you closer to your goals, but it shouldn't be a constantly micromanaged event, because it really just brings on stress and anxiety, and it brings on this shame cycle that just makes weight loss so much harder. And we want it to be easier, especially for busy moms. But here's the part that really drives me crazy. All that effort with all the tracking, it's not even accurate. The numbers aren't even real. They're literally made up by some algorithm that uses our weight, our height. It uses how much movement we're doing, all these things. So it really doesn't have like that many pieces that go into that app. It doesn't account for how our body actually works. The calories in, calorie out model treats your body like a simple calculator, and it's not, especially a woman's body. Your body is complex hormonal system that is ever evolving and ever changing. Two people can eat the exact 1,500 calories and have completely different results because their stress level is different, their sleep is different, their gut health is different, and their metabolic health. Are they flexible? Are they inflexible? We've talked about this in other videos. The labels on food also are 20% off anyways. So you feel like you're hitting your macros or your calories, but you're not. Your body's caloric burn changes constantly based on dozens of factors. You're doing advanced math with broken numbers. It just doesn't make sense. And here's what the fitness industry doesn't want you to know. I've worked with moms who've tracked macros and calories perfectly for months. Every calorie logged, every macro balance, no results. When we threw out the tracking, focused on the fundamentals, and suddenly the weight started moving. The math wasn't the problem, it was the approach. Calorie counting is like trying to budget your finances with Monopoly money. Sure, it looks real. Sure, you can buy all the apartments and all the houses, but it doesn't work in the real world. The currency doesn't match reality, okay? You can be perfect on paper and still come up short. If you've been tracking perfectly and not seeing results, not a sign to try harder or track harder. That is a sign that tracking isn't the answer. Your body is telling you something and it's time to listen. So what if calorie counting doesn't work? But before I get to the solution, I would love if you would just hit the subscribe button. I post videos like this every week, helping moms lose weight without diets or burnout. Okay, let's keep going. Moms don't have time for food math. Like, I kind of chuckle with this because, like, are we really adding more to our plate when we're already exhausted? We're stretched thin. Tracking is just one more thing that's taking away from our limited energy. Because let's be honest, you're managing kids, you're managing a career, you're managing a household, 1,000 other things. You're being, the perfect mom here, the perfect wife here, the perfect daughter here, the perfect sister, all those things. You're already running empty, girl. You are. And now you're supposed to log every meal, weigh your food, and track it all through an app. That's not sustainable. That's a second job that you just signed up for. And it's taking away time and energy from things that actually matter, like me time, like time with your kids, like time with your spouse, time on your career. You need to be present with your family. That's the most important thing. But here's what I learned the hard way. The moms who succeed long-term are not the ones who track the hardest. I've seen this time and time again. They're the ones who build simple systems that work for everyday life. Systems that don't require food scale. Systems that can handle a kid being sick, someone moving, like me. You can notice the difference in my studio. I am in the middle of moving. Your husband losing a job. You losing a job. You need to have systems in place that allow you to get to your dream body, that allows you to lose that weight, keep it off, that happen with when life is wild, because life is always crazy. It's called predictable resistance. I talk about it lots in my program. Maybe that's a topic for another day. Tracking, what I've come to know, is kind of like micromanaging every employee in your company. It might work when things are calm. Totally. You can handle it, no problem. But with the moment chaos hits, all of a sudden you can't micromanage like that. The whole system falls apart. What you need isn't more control. You need better systems that run on autopilot. Ask yourself, could I do this for the next 10 years? Because I don't know about you, but when I lost 30 pounds, I wanted to keep it off. So the way I lost that 30 pounds needed to be sustainable long-term. Just like my clients. I tell them all the time, I'm like, I want to run into you in a couple of years and you're still crushing it. And if you are, then that means we have, and most of them are, we have set systems in place that allow us the ease and flexibility and uncertainty that comes with motherhood, and you still lose weight and you still keep it off. We don't want to lean on temporary fixes that lead you back to where you started. In all this, what's the alternative? Well, let me show you what actually works. Simple structure. I call it the KISS method. Beat obsessive tracking every time. You don't need to count calories. You need a simple framework you can follow without thinking. The approach that works the best for moms is what I call the KISS method. Keep it simple, stupid. I wasn't the first one to create it, but I talk about it lots. Instead of tracking every gram, you focus on two things. How can I make this meal super, super simple? Well, I have my plate. Okay, I got my plate. Half of it is going to be a fiber-filled plate. So vegetables and fruit. A quarter of that is going to be protein, and another quarter of that is going to be a starchy carbohydrate. Simple. It's a simple equation that I can always come to. It doesn't matter the size of the plate, doesn't matter what's being served. I don't have to put it in my app. I can just know that when I dish up a plate, half of it is going to be fruit and veg, and then the other one is going to be deviated appropriately between protein and carbohydrates. What this does is it helps us keep our energy high by stabilizing our blood sugar, and it builds muscles. It also keeps us full, so we're not constantly going back and forth grazing all the time, because the high fiber from the vegetable supports digestion and keeps you satisfied. You don't need apps. You don't need scales. You don't need math. You just need a simple system that you can use with every meal, no matter if it's at home, if it's away, it doesn't matter. But this is what changes everything. My client, Anna, came to me exhausted after years of tracking. She was obsessive over it. She was overwhelmed by the mental load of it. She wanting to truly simplify things. She would actually get anxiety seeing her past coach post things like I talked about before, but like, oh, my coach let me have 30 grams of protein. She would feel anxious about that because she's a mom now. She couldn't keep up with that anymore. And she didn't want the guilt and shame that followed that, which obviously didn't do any tracking. We just simplified it. What are some questions or what's a system that she could have in place for every time she dished up a meal, every time. Within weeks, her energy was up, her bloating was gone, and the food noise in her head had finally quieted down. She said, and I love this because it's such an empowering statement. She said, food isn't the enemy anymore, it's the power, right? Our food is a signal. It's a signal to our body. I want you to think of your meals like a road trip. You don't need to calculate every turn and every stop. What you do need to know is that you're heading north. So protein and produce are your North Star. As long as you're pointed in that direction, you'll get to where you're going. Just a simple system. So here's your assignment that I'd like for you tonight. At dinner, don't track a single thing. I want you to look at your plate. Is there protein on it? Does it take up a quarter of your plate? And is there produce on it to give you that fiber, to keep you full, to help with digestion? And is that taking up half of your plate? Great. Then you're good. That's the full system. Start there. And the final point I want to make is you can trust your body again. You can go back. If you're like, oh, well, Kai, I've been dependent on a food or a food tracker for so long. I need you to know that the goal isn't perfect tracking. The goal is rebuilding trust with your hunger cues. So when you stop outsourcing your eating decisions to an app, something amazing truly happens. You start hearing your body again. You notice when you're actually hungry versus just bored. You notice when you're satisfied versus stuffed. You're starting to eat in a way that truly feels natural instead of forced. And that's when weight loss becomes sustainable. Not because you're controlling everything, but because you finally trust yourself, girl. This is what I wish someone had told me years ago. The transformation I love seeing most isn't on the scale. It's not something I really noticed at the beginning part of my career, but it's when a client tells me that she ate pizza with her kids and didn't feel guilty. When she had ice cream on vacation and she didn't spiral into shame. Or when she stopped seeing food as an enemy and started using it as fuel for what it is and giving her energy to get out and enjoy life. That's total freedom. And that's what makes the results stick for life. So learning to trust your body is like learning to ride a bike. At first, you're going to need training wheels. You're going to need a system that kind of goes in place that tells you what to do. But you need to be able to take them off, and you need to be able to trust your body that it knows how to balance. Tracking is training wheels. At some point, they hold you back more than they help. This week, try one meal without tracking. Just eat it mindfully. Notice your hunger before, notice your fullness during, and then notice how you feel after. It's really, really cool to start rebuilding this trust one meal at a time. Just some final thoughts, because here's what I really want you to take away from this is that counting calories isn't the gold standard anymore, especially for busy moms over 30 who want to lose weight. It's a tool that works for some people in some seasons, but for busy moms over 30 dealing with stress, hormonal shifts, and a full plate of responsibility, it often does more harm than good. You don't need to track every bite to lose weight. You need to lower your stress, stabilize your blood sugar, and build systems you can follow forever. I don't care how chaotic motherhood is, you need to be able to follow it. That's how weight loss truly becomes effortless, and that's how you get your life back. Now, if you're wondering whether your metabolism is actually broken, I kind of talked about that metabolic flexibility, metabolic inflexibility from all the dieting and tracking that you've done. I've made a video that covers the 5 warning signs. So if any of them sound familiar, you'll know what to focus on next. And the link is on the screen. You'll be able to see it here.